Good, 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 good. Okay. So it will be a Sombra coaching the many. Should be fun. I'm about ready to get started. Hopefully you guys are too. I didn't really refill my drinks, but I still got like all of this left in my Overwatch League cup. They're delicious. How are you doing for footage? Not too bad now. I've actually got like a bunch to review. Someone sent me an email just that literally just, hi, I really want to improve my Sombra, but I think I have a couple of issues like positioning and ult usage. I'd really love to help if you could help. And it's like, sure. Send some footage in. I can't do much of that footage, but we have this one from a sub, which is always nice to see. From a Sombra one trick as well, so I'm expecting good things. But this is also a guess my rank. How do you spell guess? Goose. I've looked at it now twice. This is the thing that like these sorts of words in English does. Like that doesn't look right. That isn't right. It's GUE. Yeah, that's it. It's one of, like you start doubting yourself, and it's like, wait, that doesn't look right. But the actual way doesn't look right either. And I don't have a spell checker on this, so yeah. So we'll get started with this, okay? It's placement, so we don't know the rank. Let's do a full intro and then go. Welcome to Overwatch, and welcome to another episode of Coaching the Many. Today we have a special Italian Sombra, of all things, not Mexican, Italian. Formazione Squadra, or something. Sounds like a Harry Potter spell. Pronti alla battaglia. It does sound like Harry Potter magic. This is a special episode as well because it was something that was suggested and something that's kind of fun to do, which is because these are placement games, we don't know the rank. And the rank is apparently revealed at the end of the video, which is kind of nice to see. But yeah, this is a Sombra one trick, but it also gives me an opportunity to talk about Sombra holistically as a whole, because at the moment there's a lot of different opinions floating around based on what's happening on the PTR at the moment, and all that kind of stuff, and Sombra's place in the game is kind of interesting. The first point I want to start with, just at sort of the top of the show, is that Sombra, the Blizzard developers have a mental image for Sombra, and rather than just have still footage, actually, like, Let's get some footage on the screen. Let's make this look professional, like a professional stream. So if I go like this and go loop, click, mute it, full screen, and then I can bring chat up. So like Sombra's an interesting hero because the Blizzard devs came out, and this I think is the first and most important thing to realize. The Blizzard devs came out and said that they wanted her to be this disruptor, right? They wanted her to be a disruptor. That's a very weird thing in Overwatch. And the reason why it's a weird thing in Overwatch is because every single DPS hero is technically a disruptor, right? To me, there's an old MMORPG adage. It's not really an adage, it's just like almost a joke, which is that death is the strongest form of crowd control. And so, sure, you can like hack a Reinhardt and disable him for a while, or you can hack someone and hack a Pharah and disable her for a while, but why would you ever do that when you can just blow our brains out with Widowmaker with a single click? Right? And you might say, well, okay, well, Widowmaker is like one example, but let's say bringing down the Reinhardt barrier is super useful and super important. It's really, really, really cool thing to do that you can sort of shut down the enemy team with. Technically, yes, but as it is right now, like just out DPSing the Reinhardt or just burning down the barrier or having mobile enough heroes to get past the barrier is more important than disrupting the Reinhardt. So in my mind, as long as Tracer exists, you are going to have a very hard time finding a place in the game for Sombra, because Tracer can get to the same places that Sombra can, Tracer can kill the things that Sombra can't, and Tracer does like a lot of the similar harassment and backline disruption while also providing a legitimate kill threat a lot of times. And that's sort of my issue with that disruption mindset, is that it's a cool player fantasy and it's a cool idea of, well, you can sort of shut down some of the enemy players and stuff. Now, a couple of things I did see, like I remember seeing a Giphy cat, and I don't know where, I think it was just like a mock-up or someone did some editing, and she started doing a hack while shooting. That to me was fucking cool. That to me is super interesting. That'll probably make her overpowered. You probably have to nerf the hack again a little bit or something, but like that's interesting. Like if it's no longer a choice, you just sort of start shooting and you can hack at the same time, or you can start hacking to be a little bit stealthier. That would be really cool. There's also like, there's a very good video out there by Overwatch Central interviewing, I'm blanking on his name. He is a Sombra main though, like top 500 rated Sombra main. He came out and sort of explained his position on why he feels the changes to Sombra are a nerf. It's a very good video and it's very well explained. It's kind of an interesting viewpoint on the whole thing. I still sort of disagree that it's overall a nerf. Fitz, yes, that sounds right. Fitzy here, I think, is his name. But, you know, his viewpoint on Sombra is probably more informed than mine. So, you know, I tend to sort of fall down, okay, if he's saying it's a nerf, it's probably a nerf overall. But my biggest issue, and I kind of agree, and I think we both come down to the same thing, his biggest issue is that Sombra, like, has low combat uptime. And that, to me, is, like, the big deal. Hack while invis will be OP. That would definitely be OP. You would never be able to stop the hack, basically. If you're hacking while shooting, then if you shoot it back, then you'll still be disabled. If you can hack while shooting, then you'll be able to just fight and disable people at the same time and do that sort of stuff. So, yeah. Beyond that, like, the biggest issue I have with Sombra still is that as a pick, she is going to struggle impacting the game the same way that a Tracer can just impact the game. And it takes a lot of coordination to get it working. Now then, we do actually have some coaching to do. We have a Sombra 1 trick, so let's get rid of this. And we have a Guess My Rank. So this is a placements game. This has been submitted to say, hey, like, come check out my Sombra, and guess what rank I'm at, or guess what rank this finishes out at. Beautiful Spitfire skin, always a plus. 200 hours on Sombra, how have you not killed yourself? Wow, Grim, don't do, like, as a depressive, let me just keeping it real at the start of the show here. The best advice I can give you guys is that suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem, okay? There are better ways, it's the coward's way out, don't do it. Look after yourselves. Right, those grim thoughts gone. Let's focus. So, Volsky used to be a really good Sombra map. It used to be a really good Sombra map. Those frame drops are the VOD, not us. Frame rate in game looks okay, though, which is what we really care about. The frame rate of the VOD can be whatever. Sombra used to be really good on this map, and then wasn't because the EMP changes came in. Like, Sombra was good on this map because you could farm that EMP super quickly. Game sound is super low. Why is it so jumpy? That's the recording. I literally just said it's the recording. So the fact that the EMP build-up changed, like, makes Sombra a lot tougher now to get working. And the big thing is, yeah, just... Did we not get the Reinhardt there? It looked like we got the Reinhardt, but I guess we didn't. No, we got someone else. Trying to get that Reinhardt every single time is going to be, like, super high prio. And then just trying to make sure that we are busy, like, as often as possible. If we can pressure out this Ryan, perfect. I think his barrier broke anyway. And this is sort of the problem that we might run into in general. We need to get away from this Brigitte. Good. Oh, that's rough. Like, this is sort of, to me, a nice demonstration. So this is pre-patch? No, this is current meta. This is live now. This is not PTR, though. It's, like, this is live. Live Sombra is unchanged at the moment. So yeah, like, not getting the Reinhardt. And what I would say is, like, I'm looking at this and I would like to see us, like, not open up with just shooting at the back line. And just trying to set up better for that hack. Like, I'm fine with the route we've chosen, because going any other route would just put us in front of people and they'd know we're there. It so looks like we get that Reinhardt, but we just don't. And then, like, this moment here, this is what the Sombra players tend to talk about a lot, which is that we need to sort of re-stealth and we need to get back involved with the fight as quickly as possible. So we either stealth and go this way, or we stealth and try and go round. And the key is this re-engage, and, like, this downtime here is really bad for us. It's nice that we get the hack through, but then they just sort of muscle on to the point. And then it's unfortunate that their McCree takes high ground. Got my diamond last season based on some adjustments I made after watching your reviews. Awesome. It's always good to hear. Like I said it before and I said it again. That's always you. That's always you guys. To be cheesy, I can open the door, but you guys have to walk through it, and it's always good to see people doing that. So waiting on the stealth. We can definitely sort of bully them through as they come through here. Ooh. It's a little bit rough. This again, ooh. A little bit of a skip there. It's interesting how slow they are on the rotatos. Actually, no, so this is the thing, like, understanding game flow is always going to be a big thing. And one of the key things that we can try and understand, and this is sort of important to all heroes, but it's going to be really important to people like Tracer, Sombra, like flankers, is especially if they have like 3 capping. And this is sort of putting me on like the guess my rank sort of thing towards gold plat, because like Masters players, for example, would already have people rolling through. They would probably have like one person, like what tends to happen is like 1 or 2 go forward, and then as the point gets to like here, then 2 more will go forward, and like the last ones will sort of trickle in at the end after the point is flipped. So this is indicating to me that this is probably more like gold platinum, just by how they're behaving. And like seeing this guy alone and not seeing everyone else, well, this is telling us, okay, well, we have now to worry about all these guys coming in. And like we're not going to be able to do much here, so yeah, I'm fine with this just bouncing out as quickly as possible. We should flip the health pack. Throw a trial, it's good. So that's just going to be set up to get us elsewhere. Did we manually de-stealth there? I think we did. No. This is actually kind of nice positioning, although the Brigitte is going to pressure us out, so yeah, we have to teleport away. That's not going to work. So it's like moments like this is where we need to really adjust how we're going to be playing. Because we do the right thing here, because like, you know, the Brigitte is going to run at us. Brigitte causes a lot of problems for us in general, because the arm is going to be a big issue. But we have to get out there, because, you know, we can't stay in there. Just running on the front line, though, is not going to work as Sombra. Like, we need to, and the thing is this, we need to keep a sideline pressure on the Reinhardt. So honestly, like going, don't take a screenshot, going here and pressuring from this side is probably going to actually work better. Because if the Reinhardt wants to move forward, which he probably does, he's either going to go this way or they're going to go all the way around the houses, which is sort of okay, gives our team time to regroup. We want to make sure that if he goes this way, then he has to do it facing us. Because if he doesn't face us, if he doesn't stop us from hacking him, well, he doesn't have a barrier, he doesn't get to do things anymore. So it's sort of, it's understanding that we create pressure just by the presence of like, oh, well, Sombra's here. Okay, well, we can put a constant threat on him. And because we can get our Translocator somewhere safe, like towards the point or something, if there's a Junkrat up here, for example, on the high ground, like on this side, then we can still kind of be fairly safe. We're a little bit at risk, but we should be pretty safe. This sort of stuff, like this is always just going to get you the hack sort of broken. Fine, just running away from this. Good shit. Should probably just get out of there. If you can keep him hacked, then good. Good. He's in a lot of trouble? Yeah. So it's the sort of the fear of the Brigitte. I would have probably been tempted to just like ult the moment we see it, because we do see Moira coming in on the side. This is a risk, and I just sort of want to explain that the option is here to do this. This is the downside of just not having information, but you can kind of see like there's like a red circle here and stuff like that. There's hints that the enemy is kind of close to us. I'd say like we are not surviving for long here, so I just think like whacking out that EMP is probably going to work fine. But yeah, then suddenly the idea with that would be to just stop the rally happening or continuing, and to stop the... Does it stop rally continuing? Actually, I don't think it does. I think rally will just continue, but it would stop the Moira ult, and that's a big deal. We do actually have really good like rollout, which is nice. You can get back super quick. This is one of the sort of the hidden advantages of Sombra. Again, did we manually leave stealth there? Yeah. I don't think we should be manually leaving stealth here. We should just be running straight onto the point. Oops, I'm on highlighter mode. We should be running straight onto the point, and we should just be looking for an EMP. It will shut down like a lot of their ability to do damage, a lot of their safeties. Like, I would like to see us just putting this EMP to work. Because, for example, like, the enemy team's going to want to hold this, and this is a snowball. So let's explain, like, the pace of the game, the tempo of the game at the moment. We've been, like, we lost first on the first push. They've been building up a lot of ults. They've used a couple of them, but they haven't used them all. So they're still going to have stuff in the back pocket. They used the rally, they used Coalescence to get on the point. Riptide, I think, has come out. Earthshadow is still a constant threat to worry about, and so is Dragon Strike. And so, like, they have momentum at the moment. We're still very much on the back foot, and if I get a quick moment, like, you can see how much we're on the back foot by, you know, he's swapped recently 46%, 15%, 80%, 50%, 70%. So, like, we don't have big swingy moves to flip this fight into our favor. So we need to be able to flip it ourselves. And we can do that by just going out and hitting the EMP on others. What rank is this? Guess. You have to guess. I'm leaning towards platinum at the moment. I'd like to see us go for a hack on here. This is always a little bit risky, but like, okay, Moira's trying to get out, she's hitting someone else, just throwing the hack at her will just cause problems for her, because like, Moira's are slippy, and you're never going to get a better chance than now, basically. But like, she's busy focusing on something else. If you get the hack out quick enough, then she might not be able to get it. But especially if it turns to a 1 versus 1 situation, then you're never going to get it. And you're probably not going to catch it then, but it's no big deal. Okay, if Reinhardt wants to come back in, then yeah, just EMP him. Oh, just, yeah, hack him, don't EMP him. Now we definitely should be considering holding on to this. Looks like we are. Good, 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 good. Don't go for anything too fancy here. So, like, moments like this is where sort of understanding the one-on-one pacing of Sombra is super important. It's super important. And this is where I think, like, the changes will really help with Sombra. Like, having that permanent stealth is weighing up moments like this where you have a clear fight that you will not be able to do anything in. You cannot kill these two people. You just cannot. If you try and focus the Moira will fade. The Brigitte will be able to throw a health pack on her, which will also give her armor, makes her even tougher to kill. She'll self-heal pretty strong. She'll probably throw out a heal ball as well, keeps her alive, very strong. Brigitte will just go and pressure you out, probably hit you with a whip shot, start healing up. Moira will start healing the Brigitte, you won't be able to kill her. Like, she has armor, you won't be able to do it. Your DPS is pathetic when they have armor. So it's like, this is a fight that you will not be able to win. So to me, the ideal situation here is you don't engage. And you just go through and you just look for an opportunity. Like, if the Moira wants to run in, then sure, you hack her. Or if the Brigitte starts running in, then you can hack her. And then you can start doing things. But even then, you aren't really looking to kill. And you're not looking to build your ult either. Because we already have it. So all this is doing is feeding the enemy team ultimate charge. At the end of the day. And, like, we cannot threaten those two. We should probably look to flip a health pack at this moment. Like, now that we have downtime, we should be flipping health packs. So, like, the one underneath us will be a good one to flip at this point, and then throw the Translocator onto, like, the Mega on the side. Not that one, the other one. That would be a pretty good idea. And then we should be considering, like, translocating to EMP. But we need to have our team in position to do something about that. So if they're going through main, now be... I like the fact that we're talking. So, the issue here is that we've set up a play around the Earthshadow, and like, we're discussing this with the Reinhardt, which is always good. But this is the issue with these sort of count-ins, is that they've already moved to safety. So what your team needs to do at this point is actually go in and force the fight. Like, they can't just stay back on the point, they have to come in and force the fight here. Their Reinhardt reacts surprisingly well by just pulling back and fighting you. It's a correct move for him. Absolutely correct move for him, because he can't do anything. Because you can't get out, you've used your Translocator, for example, so he can just go and bully you. That's a very good play by the Reinhardt. But your Reinhardt, like, needs to be running in at this point. And what I say is, like, the countdown isn't what you're looking for here. So first and foremost, like, if you want to set up a play like this, you need to be setting up, like, now, before it even begins. Say, like, this is where you spam Z a couple of times and say, hey, I've got EMP, I've got EMP. And that will just put it fresh in the Reinhardt's mind. Because to me, the best time to EMP would be, like, here. Where they're all going through the choke, you have vision on all of them, you throw the Translocator up high, and then you just get them all. And your team should be pushing in on the back of that. by the time we finish, like, hey Reinhardt, you ready? Okay. Like, this moment here, this is another good moment. Where if you consider the Reinhardt's safety, he's moving through a narrow choke point. He has to like run back here. The Reinhardt's in position to outshadow himself. This is all good. By the time we reach the end of this countdown, they're already getting indoors. And so the communication is the right idea. It's just you've got to be quicker on executing it, or you have to have already like said before the push even begins, hey, I'm going to EMP them when they get through the door. Ryan, be ready with our shadow. The fight works out. Your team does counter-engage. That's what EMP does. It gives your team a huge advantage during these fights. You can generally just win it straight up. It's a pretty good ability. And now we should be in building mode. So, reload. Here we go. Okay, we're on full ammo. Good. Let's be very fucking careful about the brig. Should probably hack the brig here. Okay, get out. Good. Take no risks. It sounds weird, like hacking Reinhardt's a big deal, but if you think about like your team has a Hanzo who's spamming away and could maybe get a kill if you disable the Reinhardt barrier, but the Brigitte is actually the sort of the big limiting factor. And the McCree is also going to be a pain in the ass, but we don't see him just yet. But if you think about like what's going to limit you and trying to DPS here, it's going to be the brig. So like disabling the brig and just shooting the shit out of her is actually going to help you out a lot. Now luckily we get a lot of good damage onto the McCree. Looks good. We can drop down. I'd like to see us flip the health pack before going out again. Like, this health pack, this mega below, is really, really useful to your team and to deny it from theirs. So, like, doing that is always going to be useful. Lol, Doomfist. Pull away. There's a health pack behind us. We should be taking it. Yeah. A little bit lucky by him, but we start re-engaging on less than 100 hit points. This is just like a good moment to talk about like kill threshold, and like your ability to do things is dependent on how much health you have. Depending on what the enemy team is running, this changes somewhat, but I would always say like sub 100 hit points is a big deal. It's a very, very big deal. A lot of stuff starts killing you or one-shotting you around sub 100 hit points. 100 is a really nice cutoff. So if you're on 140 hit points, let's say, it's still risky to do things, and I'd say like for Tracer Sombra especially, like okay, Tracer can only go to 150, but Tracer should be starting her plays on full hit points anyway. You're mobile enough, pick up health packs. Sombra's kind of the same, where if you are low on hit points, you can probably get to a health pack and get it working pretty quickly. There's nothing stopping us just backing away from this instead of running in and going for the health pack behind us. You can hack it, take it, and then go back in. And that sort of stuff. It's all going to be very useful for you. So we're going to go use the tanks. Good job hacking the brig. You can probably maintain some pressure on her. Nice. Good job by the Winston to finish that one off as well. Just do some damage. Finish off that McCree. Good. This is all ultimate charge in the bank for you. Ooh! Junkrat comboed. It's still fine. We have an EMP for next fight. That's really good. That is really good. You have Earth Shadow again, you have EMP. This is where, again, you press Z a couple of times. Just sorry, my back is itching. Ugh. There we go. So chat. Is chat really dead, or, like, chat? Or am I, like, disconnected? Who knows? So, yeah, the big thing for the next fight is just, again, making sure your team knows that you have EMP and setting that up. So dead, yeah. It's just super dead. God damn it, chat. Don't worry me. So like moments like this, like moments where you realize where they're out of position compared to your Reinhardt, here is a really good example. If you manage to get the EMP on the Reinhardt now, where can he go? He can't go anywhere, so he's going to be like earth-shattered and killed. Pretty much 100%. It's going to be very hard for them to save him. Juicy. Not the... Oh, he's so cocked. Nano Sombra is not the play. Keep your eye on that Rhine. Good. Come back out. Try and hack him. Good job. Very good. Just finish him up if you can. Whoa, yeah. We stopped thinking about the Reinhardt. You need to always be thinking about the Reinhardt.
Junkrat
In general, it's been pretty good. Like, this is the correct move. I'd say, like, the only thing is to, like, move out this way towards the more open space and away from the Reinhardt. The Reinhardt, you're kind of in stalling mode, and so if you're far away from the Junkrat, he's going to have a hard time finishing you off with his shots. We just back into the Reinhardt here. So he drops an Earth Shadow on us, which is kind of fine, and then Junkrat can land his shots, and Reinhardt can land his shit super easily, but Brigitte comes out, I think, provides us with some healing, stores it up. It's all good. Don't lose a third, I think. No, we don't. So one of the big things, again, I'd like to see us do more is just, you know, flip these packs a little bit more. It's less important than it used to be, but it is still kind of useful. Good, good, good. Should be. We're back in building mode. We're like a good distance there. So with Junkrats, like this is unlikely, but with Junkrats, I'd like to see us. I think, do we come out on this on our own again? I'd like to see us just go for the hack with this. The danger with Junkrat is when you're fighting one-on-one against the Junkrat, right? It tends to look like this. With Junkrat, it's almost like fighting a Hanzo. Where Junkrat's like spamming, and then suddenly one will hit. Oh, I got a hit. Like, exclamation point. I got a hit. He's landed a shot. And then he'll do like his concussive mine and detonate that and secure the kill. Or he'll throw a concussive mine at you and then throw another one, or he will just like throw a concussive mine and then try and blow you up. But he's trying to set up this combo. If you deny him his ability to combo, then you're probably going to kill him. Like he's very, very weak when he's just trying to left click you. So this sort of thing is very rare. You kind of got lucky there. But he died anyway, which is good. Like, good job by Hanzo. You almost have another EMP. Hanzo's doing a good job of pressuring from this angle. This is pushing me towards like Plat Diamond. And with like how coordinated people are, still leaning around Plat Diamond at the moment. Good hack on the Diva. Let's build up that EMP. Good. Now we just judge if we need it or not, and I don't think we do. No, we don't. Try and finish her off. It's very annoying. There we go. Good ship. Swapping to like tank heavy. They don't have a Reinhardt anymore, so we've done a good job in terms of like tilting the enemy team here. I think we tilted the Reinhardt off Rein, which means that your Reinhardt. Let's stick this. We tilted the Reinhardt off Reinhardt, which is super nice. Will we know by the end of the recording? Yes. Apparently, rank is at the end. Maybe this is the last placement. Maybe not. If you're ever at a loss for what to do, we should be looking for some health packs to flip. Nice. Okay. So again, these are the moments when like you start saying to your team, hey, yeah, we can do this, we can do that. Good shit. Diva's demacked. This is kind of all you need to do a lot of work in this next fight. So you probably don't even need it, but it's the final fight, so should definitely be considering it.
Come back.
This is a little bit scary. You should stealth and get out of here. Yeah, we're like two in a corner. It's too obvious what we're doing. You should translocate away from the point, or at least stealth, yeah. I appreciate the cheeky hack attempt. I'd honestly say, like, trading the EMP there is probably worth. Just because, like, Coalescence enables them to do a lot. We definitely want to. We don't want to be. This is not good for us. This is really not good for us. We're getting bogged down finding an enemy that we can't kill. Basically, Moira is super difficult for us to deal with. Like, you can sort of feel the frustration in like, okay, well, we're trying to kill her, and then she like pulls us out of stealth. We should just be disengaging, and all we're looking for in this fight is to set ourselves up with an EMP. So like we overcomplicated a lot of things here. Now, what I will say is there is a huge opportunity back here. Huge opportunity. That we could go for. Like, it's the last 30 seconds. 3 targets are available, most of them supports. I would be tempted to go for it here. It's okay not doing it, but I would be tempted just to get these 3 kills, and that sort of sets you up for a really easy win. We definitely want to get out of this corner. Then the moment we hear this fire in the hole, okay, like now it's time to stealth and probably not like engage through main. Like this seems to be a recurring problem where we're trying to run into the enemy team. I say this every time we do coaching Sombra, but if you've ever played TF2 and played Spy, you know the frustration. You know how aggravating it is to play Spy and try and like run through major choke points or major thoroughfares where fighting is happening. So like stuff is happening in this angle where Moira is just putting damage through. We are not stealthing through this. Like we are not running through this and maintaining our stealth. The only way to get something done with this would be to lob a translocator into it. So we would be going around the back, and going around the back would probably put us like right on top of the enemy team, which is honestly where we want to be. You know, we want to be where the enemy is because all we're thinking about at the moment is our EMP. Especially when engaging this Moira, like we need to be out of here. This health pack, if this health pack was flipped, we could probably take this fight a little bit longer just to sort of highlight, hey, this is why doing little things like constantly making sure the right health packs are flipped is super important. Because it leads to moments like this where the health pack, like this health pack especially, should be under your control 100% of the time. This one is lower prio. This one is super low prio. I'll like draw a line, super low prio. And the one behind the point as well is like relatively low prio. This one needs controlling if you're playing Sombra in my mind. And sure, you don't gain ult charge off it like you used to, but because a number of pushes, like the enemy team tends to push in, they'll either go straight to point or they'll go around here. You see a lot of fights sort of degenerate around this area. Like you want to have control of this because it denies the enemy team a huge resource and gives your team a huge resource as well. Worth saying that EMP also hacks a pack if it's nearby, yes. Although I'd say like the big mistake here is just not realizing like the futility of fighting a Moira when we're playing Sombra. Like once this hack fails, you're out, you bounce out. So we pick up the health pack, and this is where we should be pulling away. Feels bad, man. To give EMP an interface, that will make Sombra a lot better actually. If you could constantly see how many people you catch with it. Mentioned it before, Sombra has a quick rollout at the very least, but you're probably not going to make it. Oh, you might just... nice. Maybe good enough. You managed to catch everyone. Tracer slightly faster. That's fair enough. The nice thing about EMPs on the point is it sort of stops... It can sort of put a stall on what the enemy team's trying to accomplish, and that's always going to be very important. I'm fine with the Tracer swap. It's fastest rollout. Have an instantaneous impact.
Jesus. Good job, guys.
Whew. People need to learn one simple thing. You need not take on every fight. There's nothing wrong with running away when at a disadvantage, especially for a Sombras. But it's more realizing and like assessing, if I fight this, what's my impact? Like how well am I going to do in this fight? And with Sombra, like this is a super important skill. So there's moments of like slight concern where it's like we saw the Brigitte and we saw the Moira together. We have our EMP generated. We cannot interact with that in a meaningful way. Like they're out of combat. They're safe from other people. We can't interact with that. Like we shoot it, we just build up their ultimates. So we should just leave it alone. So it's that kind of stuff. And this is where I think the new Sombra will help a lot, is like you are assessing your fights and then going, okay, well, let's take that one. Is that a Spitfire skin? Is that throwing? Just heck you. Ugh. I'm gonna boil myself alive and wear two shirts, just because. Okay. Spoilers. Looks like the second half is short. There we go. This by the way is signed. It doesn't show up very well, but this is signed by the original 12. So Gladiators for life. Enjoy our scraps. Enjoy Fisher and all he brings you. It's a very talented player. Okay. Just by fan, I am a fan. I'm a fan of London. Right. That said, chat, before we begin, actually, and I need to, you're going to suffer wearing too, I'm not going to be wearing it for too long, I think. But 7, like, I'll do my brief sellout, my sellout moment. I think it's actually on the Team UK Twitter. So first and foremost, Team UK, if you aren't following this Twitter already, you should be. Because why not? There should be some shirts coming out. Also, if you haven't watched Dynaflask's newest video, go watch Dynaflask's newest video. It's freaking hilarious. But we have shirts that are going on sale, or might already be on sale. Like, but when they're out, or if they're out, buy our shirts. Buy the 7 Lions shirts. They're gonna look rad. It's just pretty much the 7 Lions logo. It's like this cool little lion. This guy. Should be good. Dino has a new vid? Yes, Dino has a new vid. It is, in my mind, it's probably the funniest one he's ever made. Probably the funniest one he's ever made.
Shiny new icon.
Evil? 12 months. Good lord. Was Chris vs Fusions a tough decision? Yes. We can talk about that afterwards. Let's focus on Sombra for now, but yes, it was very tough. Chris Fusions and Numlocked were all tough decisions. It was like we were legitimately discussing internally of if we wanted to bring 2 main tanks, because Chris and Fusions were so good. We decided on a Widow Specialist instead. In KSB, because KSB is really good, it turns out. It's very nice to see. So yeah. I imagine we're alt-tabbed and doing something. I just, like, during these early phases, I would very much encourage just to take a quick moment, especially in like the last 15 seconds, just to press tab, see what your team lineup is, understand what you're doing, understand what your teammates are, and sort of that will help you plan out what your first moves are going to be. And like this plan is very important to Sombra, so we need to know kind of what we're setting up for. Like our sole DPS is Hanzo. I know we have a Reinhardt, and beyond that I don't know anything. I'm fine with this method of infiltration. This is actually pretty good. I like it. Let's get a translocator down somewhere. Nice. Okay, now I can start impacting the fight. Let's get a hack on. Why did we cancel that hack? Why did we cancel that hack?
Push on that.
Just follow through with this. Hacking the Orisa when the barrier is going down is huge. There's a cool thing to understand about Orisa's defensive options on the first engagement. Okay, this is Orisa. She is a horsewoman with a gun. She got 2 arms. There we go. It's Orisa. Believe it or not. That is Orisa. Okay, and the important thing to understand about Orisa on the first engagement is that she has effectively 1800 barrier. Okay, on this first engagement. Because she throws down the barrier, and so she starts off with 1, and then by the time the engagement goes through, she'll be able to recycle this one before it breaks. So she will have 2 barriers. Pretty much every single time in these first engagements. Good Orisas will even be doing this like... they'll be launching one up, so that by the time this barrier breaks, it'll drop down, and then it's like the most efficient way to manage your cooldowns and stuff like that, but don't worry too much about that. It's mostly like a thing to keep in mind that if you see this sort of thing on an early fight, like a super early fight, so this is probably the first engagement, then doing this is really good. Hey, you want a sushi, congratulations.
I am number 1 cheer, woohoo.
Woohoo, and you also get like the football giveaway stuff as well. It's coming home, it's coming home. Just gotta believe, it's coming home. Believe hard enough and it becomes true. We won on penalties. Like, I can't stress this enough for our international viewers. England won a penalty shootout. It's coming home. It has to. It has to come home. It's about time it came home. It's been away from home for too long. Right. So yeah, like, complete this hack. There's no reason why not.
Mercy dead.
If you're a Valk sub, Valk has a very good emote for this. Now is the time to use it. I think it's a Valk emote. I think I have that emote myself. Oh, that's my channel. I can't type Valk apparently. There it is. There it is. So yeah. Keeping it close. Keeping it real close. I'd like to see us start this fight with a hack. Like, in my mind, if you can get the hack off, you probably should. And like stuff like hacking Hanzo, or I think that's a Brigitte. Like, Hanzo is very high priority to hack. It sounds weird to say. It sounds really weird to say. Or a bit slow there, chat, but you got there in the end. A lot of Valk subs around, and a Nemong sub. Okay, there we go. But yeah, like hacking Hanzo is actually a really big deal now. Storm Arrow is Hanzo's linchpin. I've talked about it enough that I believe Storm Arrow is a crutch, and Hanzo without Storm Arrow is about, like, Hanzo with Storm Arrow, let's say he's 100% threatening. Hanzo without is like 20% threatening. It's a huge drop. It's a huge drop. So just disabling Hanzo is a really big deal. Like, our DPS output is not the greatest. You should probably, okay, like, before we go into this stealth here, like, especially because Hanzo isn't pursuing, we should just go and flip this health pack. Like, there is no reason why not, and fights, again, in this area tend to degenerate where, like, people will be in here, and, like, especially supports like to run into here, pick up this health pack, and then, like, heal from in here. So if you disable this health pack for them, it's not about, like, providing it for you or your team, it's about taking it away from their team, because supports and tanks love running in here, picking up the mega, and then getting back out in the fight. So this is, like, you can think of this as 200 hit points that you've taken from the enemy team. And it just makes your team much more likely to win. I don't like the choice to drop down here either. Like, we should be taking, again, like, just understanding the flow of Volskaya. The way Volskaya normally goes is you'll have this sort of moment where you'll break through the choke, their team will fall back over here, your team will push around here, and you have like this moment of calm for about 5 seconds where your team is pushing around this corner. And you can use that calm to take the health pack down there, for example. Leave a Translocator like over here, and then like peek over the edge and see what you want to do. Rather than just like going straight for the jump down, where we should probably just be on the high ground and hack like this Orisa, or hack the Brigitte, or like you can even try and hack the McCree, and just shoot from above, because now that we're down here, we're way more in danger of this McCree. Should get out? Good. Again, I'd like to see us just stay on this high ground.
Hunter's low.
You guys got it?
Nice. Just finish that off.
On the way.
There we go. Now we should probably be moving forward. Like, we should not be on the point capping it. We should be moving forward. Sombra is like, there are a couple of heroes that shouldn't be on the point. Sombra is absolutely one of them. Sombra, like, needs time to set up for the next stuff, and you should be doing that. You should be building up your EMP. You should be taking some health packs as quickly as possible. Like, even if it's just the health pack on the transition here, like the one to the left, that mega, that will be a big deal. The one in here will be an even bigger deal. And the worst thing, again, is to be stuck moving through the main choke while the rest of your team is. So now you have to use your Translocator to get in, and that slows us down even more. Flip this health pack. No reason why not. You can even leave your Translocator there if you're feeling spicy. We can leave it up here, that's fine.
Hunter dead.
Let my shield recharge a little bit.
Kill this Lucio.
Orisa dead. Oh, okay, they just ulted. Solo ulted me.
It's a Junkrat.
Solo ulted me.
We're solo ulted me.
Oh.
Like, solo ult is honestly kind of shocking, but it's still worth, especially on a Hanzo. This is another one of those no, it's on cooldown, I'd say. I think we just go in a little bit too early, but we can perhaps get some stuff done. We managed to bully out the Orisa. I think we just go in a bit too deep. And like most of our team is still stuck. This is honestly like... This is why I'm sort of leaning towards high plat. If I had to guess, I'd say around like 2.9. Because it's like, moments like this, your team... Again, let's talk about tempo, let's talk about pacing. And this is where I think a mastered level team, and like even a high diamond team will be different. Where your team has tempo, right? You storm through first point. Your team probably, if you press tab, your team probably has a couple of ults in the back pocket. Their team's still trying to build some stuff up. It's no surprise to see Junkrat's built up his. But if your team sort of go in now, in terms of like average ult charge, your team's probably on about 80% across the board. Like in terms of average ult charge across all heroes. Like we're on 84. Hanzo I think might have his. Reinhardt probably has his, for example. One of the supports probably has theirs. Everyone else is close. So you can probably, in this fight, get all 6 ultimates up and running. These guys are probably on more like 60 to 70%. So if you go now, well, your team's going to come online with all your ultimates faster than they are, right? Their team's still going to be lagging behind. if you can get that swing, then that's when you win. And that's sort of the understanding of the tempo of a snowball, and the point of these snowballs is like you go from first to second and you try and do it as aggressively as you can because you want to just minimize the amount of time they have.
Shield recharge a little bit.
So like, let's see if it's true, because
Onto dead.
My shield.
this is a little bit surprising. Although there is an Orisa, you'll see Zarya struggle to build up charge against Orisas quite often. 92, 88, 100, 80, 78. So about on point except for the Zarya. And I imagine the same is similar for these guys. Like the Lucio is going to be behind because he swapped off the Mercy, so he's on 0. Daddy is on 0 apparently. Bully Hunter and Daddy, wow. So he's on 0%. He's on 100% because he's a Junkrat. It's kind of inevitable. He's kind of irrelevant. She's kind of irrelevant. She's probably a near one. Yeah, it's a Brigitte. She's probably on 100. So like their team's in trouble, and then he's dead.
Shield recharge a little bit.
Kill this Lucio.
Orisa dead. Oh, okay, they just ulted. Solo ulted me. Junkrat solo ulted me.
I'm fine with your team backing out now, I guess, after that first death. I'd like to see the engage already happening, and you could probably have won that fight if it just happened straight up. And now that you're dead as well, like we have to be careful. Why would you swap off Mercy? Because they wanted to get to the point super quickly, but that's about it. It's a bad decision. What are our supports? Anna Brig? Ew. Ew. I mean, you guys should just win if you get a grab. So, like, you have a very simple victory condition and just build up the,
Welcome to Overwatch,
build up
Monsieur.
the ult. Hey, Miranda.
The number of months I subbed is now officially more than I can count.
It's more than I can count in German, that's for sure. Like, I know it in Dutch. It'll just be like 21. But that's going to be different than German. It should probably be similar. Probably be like 21. No, it's not 20 because there's no in German. 21. There you go, Zwanzig. Interesting that it's Zwan. I guess it makes it because it's like Zwei. Ein, zwei, yeah. It's weird. Language.
Yep.
Propaganda's useless.
Welcome to Overwatch, Monsieur.
Does this do a thing? It does a
Does
thing.
this do a thing?
It absolutely does a thing. Thank you so much, Sintalis. Hey, 9 months as well. Stream bab. Your team's muscling on, building up some progress hopefully soon. You can get back to the fight nice and quick. Team still has Graviton Surge in their back pocket as well. You should win from this push. And like I've seen the timer, so I kind of know that you probably win. Just mind the dragons. There's the Grav. Some kills from the Grav. Finish it up.
Oh, 1. Nice.
So I'd say like the biggest things that I'm seeing. Is like how we manage our downtime, is what I'd say, right? It's how we manage that downtime. And so anytime you have where like you are between fights, just flipping a health pack is never a bad idea, especially the important ones. And like that just takes time and practice. But you know, a good example for this one is like on Volskaya. Yeah, it's actually a good map. Kind of. Wait, what? B here looks very wrong. Oh, okay, it's because it's from like the other head view, but that is not right at all. Point A at least is correct, so let's just use point A for now. We can kind of use point B, I guess. Yeah, like the big ones to take for on like offense and defense is just like this one especially is a huge deal. Just because a lot of the times teams will end up defending in this space. This is part of why Sombra was so good on Volskaya, was like this health pack is super important. And you could defend from in here really safely. So if you just take that health pack away from them, suddenly this space becomes a lot more dangerous and a lot harder to defend from. You'll see this a lot where like after you push through the choke, their team will be pushed back this way and set up here, and your team will go around here and set up here. And you'll sort of end up engaging this sort of poke battle. But because they have a health pack, then they're in a really good position because they can use this health pack. They can use this one as well if they're feeling spicy. Or like Winston's, for example, can use it. But this one especially is like good for supports, good for main tanks. So denying that from them is always going to be a big deal. And you should have time. Like I was fine with our rollout and like using the translocator to get in, pushing through here, and then like translocating this way. That sets us up really nicely actually for this first engagement where we just hack someone, fight someone, maybe kill someone, bounce out, and then we're set up nicely to take this health back. Like, that's really good. Then it's like the other thing where like the point is 1, the point's flipping. Okay, then we should use that to move forward. Maybe take this one, but definitely set ourselves up and try and take this one. Because again, a lot of fights, like it's kind of badly mapped out here. Maybe I can find something better for Volsky at point B. We found a Chinese one. So we'll abuse that. It's not the greatest, but it still worked. Like the health back in here is super big deal. Super big deal again, because like teams as they're pushing in will generally like fights can sometimes end up occupying this space, or they'll end up going around here, and so that health back again is very useful. These ones, like this one here and this one here, the small ones, are a lot less useful, and then this one's just really out the way and not really contested in fights, so it doesn't matter too much. But definitely, like this one is the big deal. So like finding a way to flip this one is like crucial almost. Don't be afraid to just like use a hack for that during the downtime. And yeah, and then just avoid the habit of like going through the main chokes when possible. Like there's a number of times we engage through here, or like we'd be like we'd set our translator up here, which is fine, but then we like drop down and we'd like drop down and come through this way instead of dropping down and coming this way, which is a little bit more out the way, which is sort of where we want to be. So chat is making bets, I guess. I don't have like sandwiches or anything that I can give out, unfortunately. So people are saying like 2.8, 2.3, 2.3-ish, 2.7, 2.7, 2.8. I'd say about 2.8, 2.9 overall. So let's see. See at the end. Apparently it is revealed. Got shot caller. It's what we want to see when we're playing Sombra, is shot caller. A capacità decisionale, sportività. Beautiful. Let's see. I'm tense. A couple 2.6k, 2.8, 3.1, 3k, 2.6, 2.4, 2.6, 2.7. I'm nervous. I don't know about you guys, but I'm nervous. I mean, I'm the one like that announced brashly like 2.9. I'm gonna stick with 2.9. You see how they did in placements? Pretty good. Better than even. 6.4. 2.7. There you go. Mid plat. Not too far off. Unfortunately, I think I said like mid to high plat, so it kind of counts me out. Because that's technically speaking, that's low plat. But yeah, everyone who said like 2.6, 2.7, 2.8, good job. But yeah, otherwise, I'd say in general, like, you know, mechanics is a hard thing. With Sombra, our mechanics looked okay in most fights. It's that decision making. I know that Ryan talks about this a lot, and I kind of believe it a lot as well myself. Which is that people, and I'm going to, sorry, my big ugly face is going to be on screen for a while while we talk about this and while I open Overwatch. Still repping the Spitfire. You can sort of see gesture. There he is. Like Hureg is over here on my nipple. It's faded a little bit, unfortunately. Fisher's all the way down here in my belly. And there's Fisher. There we go. Let me open up Overwatch just to take questions. Now's the time to start asking questions as well. I can already see like 1 or 2, which is good. So start asking questions. If you have questions, now's the time. And I will try and answer them. Try and ask questions about Sombra. If you don't have questions about Sombra, then like anything you want really, but mostly Sombra oriented where possible. As Overwatch loads up. So yeah. Overall, like, yeah, mechanics are always a hard thing to judge with Sombra players, but it is like the game knowledge thing. And Ryan talks about this a lot, where a lot of people sort of come out and say things like, oh yeah, you know, it's my game knowledge is fine, it's my mechanics holding me back. You'd be surprised how often that is wrong. It sounds harsh to say, but the thing with mechanics, and my webcam's frozen. There we go. The thing with mechanics is it's very easy to know when your mechanics are bad, right? It's like a very obvious thing that mechanics are going wrong because you miss shots. So if I pick Widow and I start doing this, oh, I missed, oh, that apparently was a hit. I missed. Like, it's obvious that my mechanics are kind of shit, right? Like if I'm just missing shots all the time, oh, my mechanics are terrible. And so it's obvious. If you don't have good game knowledge, though, it's much harder to assess. Much harder to assess. Now, I'm not saying that like the coach you today had terrible game knowledge. It's just there are a couple of gaps there, or a couple of decisions that weren't quite correct or weren't quite optimal. And optimizing that, wow, frames, hello, there we go. Optimizing that is going to go a long way. Wow, frames, hello. Something's downloading, I guess, or something's running in the background that is making my game very upset. Oosh, oosh. Let's go back to this screen while I press Control Alt Delete. Go to Task Manager. What is eating my frames? Just Overwatch apparently. Chrome as well. Yeah, Chrome's going to cause problems. I've got a lot of tabs open. Close all that. Close all that. There we go. That should help a lot. 100% CPU. That's rough. Anyway, Hero Gallery. Sombra, and I can go over here again. Should be okay. We also want to close that and have it on monitor capture. So if I do that, yep, you guys pop up. Good. Sombra, where are you, love? There you are. Beautiful. Emotes. What is boop? There we go. Alright, guys. Hey, Hoyo, how are you? Do you think the quality of life features that have been added will be enough to fix competitive? Fix? No. Help a lot? Yes. It seems pretty good. Like, it's definitely better. Just having things like incentives for good behavior is just nice. Like having, you know, a good boy and good girl points, it seems to push people towards behaving a little bit better. It's an interesting psychological effect, but I think just having a way to track that is kind of a nice deal. Having the ability to just go into LFG as well is super nice. Like knowing that I can go into a game and go, I want to play DPS and get DPS is really good overall. And I think it does fix one of the core issues with Overwatch, which is that you can go into games not knowing what you want to play. I do think that we'll see people like drop out of LFG. And what I'd like to see Blizzard like continually do quick passes on it and like make it so that you can, you know, right now, basically one of the big issues, and like when we did the 6-stack placements, for example, one of the issues we face is you have 2 tanks, 2 supports, 2 support, and 2 DPS. But we'd often have like 2 main tanks. Like we started out games with 2 main tank players, so we didn't have 2 off tanks. 2 support players, they could both be like Mercy mains. 2 DPS players, they could both be Widow mains, or they could be like me, where I don't play Hanzo. So like, what do you do if you need Hanzo? Stuff like that. So you can make improvements overall to the system. I'd like to see them start doing that. Yeah, otherwise, I think it goes a long way to sort of setting up expectations, and it's nice to be able to quickly form a group and just go in and play with a group and say, hey, yeah, I play this, this, and this, and stuff like that. How do you think Sombra will fare in the possible 3 tank dive meta if Hammond Diva Monkey works? I don't think Hammond Diva Monkey works is the problem. I think that if you play Brigitte against that, it just fucking stops working. Like, there is no damage on that team. Hammond does so little overall. So, yeah. I don't see that team comp running, basically. This is a big thing. And you can't run a Brigitte with it because Brigitte doesn't synergize super well with dive. Like, you could try, I guess. I just have a like mind the point and play like triple tank, triple DPS, sort of a pseudo goats comp, but I don't know. Sombra's in a weird place, and I went through this at the start, so I'm not going to go through it all the way at the end as well. But like the disruptor role is a bizarre one. Going up against double snipers or a decent widow, so the team switch to full mobility or focus the enemy team frontline. It's a very, very big deal, and if you watch a lot of pro level Overwatch, a lot of this decision making is where it comes down for the tanks, and like this is why tanks are super important, because what you want is your tanks deciding, okay, do I go and pressure the widow, like especially if they're playing Winston. That's a really shitty W. If they're playing Winston, do they go and contest the Widowmaker, or do they contest the main tanks? And like, how do you make a decision of flipping between those 2 roles and stuff like that? The key with double sniper is just understanding, like if you're playing Ryan Zarya, for example, then you just have to play like super tight and just try and slowly grind forward, and try and make space for your own sniper. Like trying to open up your own Widowmaker is a big deal, and like you saw it if you watched me and Ryan play on the PTR when Ryan was playing Hammond, and like one of the weaknesses of Hammond in my mind is like the ability to go and contest that Widowmaker is such an important idea and such an important thing that you need to internalize, that like if you have a Widowmaker and they have a Widowmaker, and one of them is contested, one of them isn't. The one that isn't generally just wins and does way more damage. Like, uncontested Widowmaker is so easy to do so much with. So you need to have ways of pressuring that out. It comes down at the end of the day on, like, going back to the question, circling back to the question of, do you swap or do you push the enemy front line? It depends on your team lineup, and it depends on where people are comfortable. Like, if you're playing Junkrat, Reinhardt, Zarya, then yes, you can just bully the shit out of their front line and go and do that. If you're playing double sniper your own, then you probably want to set up for snipers and, like, pressure out and try and centralize the game around new snipers. Beyond that, it is down to your main tanks and, like, the decision process of those main tanks. If you're running Ryan Zarya, then you need to just, like, buckle up and just play very defensively and win around your combo. But if you're playing Winston D.Va, for example, then, like, at some point the Winston needs to go and pressure the Widow, or the D.Va needs to go and pressure the Widow, or someone needs to go and do something about the Widow so that your snipers can then do something. If you aren't playing snipers yourself and you're playing dive still, then you just play super hard dive and you try and kill supports. But if they swap to Brigitte, then you're fucked, basically. So it's sort of like this is sort of the effect Brigitte has on the game, is that Brigitte is very much like a rock, paper, scissors. She is pretty hard counter to dive. So Brigitte is better than dive, and then, like, snipers. And so you end up with this sort of circle of Brigitte beats dive, dive beats snipers, snipers beat Brigitte. And so what most teams seem to be centralizing on right now is just going sniper versus sniper, and playing around that. Who is the best DPS partner for Sombra? Good question. Very good question. Like, honestly, sounds weird, but I kind of like Widow Sombra, but it leaves you, like, in current meta, I'd say Widow Sombra is better, because Sombra can actually go and pressure the enemy Widow and stuff like that. And, like, you can do stuff like fuck with the barriers and fuck with their pacing, like Hanzo Sombra as well. Hanzo Sombra probably works really well, just because Hanzo's really good at all ranges at the moment. So if you counter out the Reinhardt shield, then Hanzo can do a shitload of damage to the tanks. If Hanzo hits someone, you can go and finish them off. If Hanzo wants to go on a flank or start picking people off, you can hack them, disable mobility options, stuff like that. So it sets you up really nicely with those two. Beyond that, like, Sombra just changes how your team has to play. And, like, you are much more ultimate based and much more, like, about, okay, well, the hack hit the Reinhardt, so now we can play as if they don't have a Reinhardt for a little while. And being very reactive. The big thing I'd say is, like, you want to combine Sombra and Zen. Like, this combination is super nice, just because if you do get a hack on the Reinhardt, you want to have a Discord Orb so you can burn the target super quick. Discord Orbs are going to be very important. Do you ever think removing alt charge from health packs do you think removing alt charge from health packs was a good idea? Long term, yes. Once I finish off my drink. Long term, yes, I do. I think that the health pack playstyle was kind of, it didn't suit Sombra, where it basically it's like it completely warped how the game was played, because you just had EMP every single fight, and it just made the game super passive and revolved completely around the idea of, oh, well, let's take some damage, steal the health back. And it introduced a lot of wacky shit to the game, where in the beta this was true, where at the moment it's, so if you do damage, so if this is me and I shoot an enemy, let's do these colors properly. If this is me, I'm blue, dabba dee dabba die, and I'm shooting an enemy, right, and I shoot the enemy, I gain alt charge, I gain advantage. Previously in the beta, the enemy gained alt charge as well. So it was sort of like, it was a case with, like, Roadhogs, where it was very hard to kill them, but you could do a lot of damage to them, but it would just build up Whole Hog every single time. Now, luckily, Whole Hog's kind of a garbage ultimate, but it made it a problem where, like, you would have points where you shooting the Roadhog, or your team shooting the Roadhog, was just feeding the Roadhog ults every fight. This kind of wacky shit got removed, because it basically, you know, it's a way of for your team to get advantage. If you're constantly doing damage, then you'll build up an ultimate, and it made it so that the team doing more damage would win more, which is generally a good idea, right? If your team's able to do more damage than their team, you're probably doing something right, overall. And so what it introduces is this system back again where they take damage and suddenly they get EMP. And EMP is a really powerful ultimate, especially with the changes to hack. And so it was just, made the game stale, boring, unfun, and introduced a really unfun playstyle. So long term, I agree. It's, you know, at the moment it's a nerf for her, but that playstyle just, I don't think, suits the game, slows down the game, and causes more issues than it fixes. So yeah, like, I am happier with Sombra being made into more of an assassin, more than anything. I don't know, Blizzard again have come out and said we wanted to be a disruptor, but like Widowmaker and Tracer in my mind are like the ultimate argument or against pure disruption. Because you know what's pretty fucking disruptive? A 300 damage headshot, right? That's pretty disruptive. That's pretty scary. You know what's really disruptive? Having Tracer appear and kill you in a second. That's really disruptive. What's sort of disruptive is someone appearing behind you, hacking you, and then your team can do something. But why would you do that and have lower damage output, lower team fight pressure, when you could just play these two, right? That's sort of the big issue I have with that idea of, oh, we can have a disruptor. With only 6 slots on a team, disruption needs to be really fucking good. And when disruption's really fucking good, it tends to feel very oppressive as well, and unfun for the other person. And so that's sort of the scary thing. How many packs do you try and keep up? In my mind, you should have one pack that you have like 100% uptime on, then just a couple around that you can kind of make use of. For Sombra, is high ground or low ground better? High ground is always better. Well, always. High ground is mostly better because low ground, it's very difficult to just get a hack on people. The thing with like high ground, when I think high ground, I think like watch point Gibraltar first point, you know, and like Reinhardt moves through on the low ground, and you can like got a bridge at the start. He goes through as he goes through car wash. There's a bridge there. As he goes out of car wash, there's a bridge here. Like you have so many points to like get these hacks from, and it just sets you up for an easier hack. Just be behind and be above people, generally good, and then that's sort of landing the hack, and then you can move and then you can do stuff. Press mark all is seen. This button right here. This button. No. Never. You answered that before, but I'd like to keep it in every Sombra CTM Q&A session. From the full roster, who do you think is high priority targets to hack? It changes every patch, so it's generally good to run through. Give me a green. Give me a highlighter. There we are. Give me a thick. Good old thick. There we go. Beautiful. So, high priorities to hack. Anna's pretty high, honestly. Bastion's pretty high. Brigitte's pretty high. Diva, Doomfit, like all these guys on this top row include you. I would include you. Honestly, with the new hack, I'd say you are pretty high prio. You and you, pretty high prio. You're high prio. You're high prio. You are absolutely high prio. You're pretty high prio. You're low prio. High prio. Like it's pretty dramatic actually. Low prio. I'd say Sim's probably. Oh, sorry. Low prio. High prio, but difficult. I put that like middle prio. High prio. If you can get a hack on her, it's huge. High prio. Give me yellow. Medium prio on Orisa. Medium prio on Tracer, and I'll explain the Tracer pick, because like getting a hack on Tracer is huge. It's the difficulty of getting a hack on Tracer. So like if you spend ages trying to hack Tracer, like you're not doing anything, so you might as well be shooting something or hacking something else. That's basically what informs that decision making. Zarya and Zen, I'd say, are like middle prio. The thing with Zarya is you can generally force out the barriers pretty easily, and you're not stopping her really from doing much different. Like she's pretty tough regardless, and so like hacking her, sure, you can do something, but you can also just like do damage to her. She'll barrier, and then you can just keep on doing damage. And like forcing the barrier out is often worthwhile. So it's a difficult thing, and also hacking areas is kind of difficult unless you get this jump on her. So overall, like I'd say that's the case. And then like low prio, unless he has an ult, Torb and Sim. Like these guys are pretty low prio. New Sim is kind of hard to judge, but like I'd say this is pretty low prio. Let's run through it quickly about why these are high prio. Disabling Grenade is a really good idea. Makes her have way less safeties. Like Anna relies on her cooldowns for her safeties, so if you disable her cooldowns, it's a pretty big deal. It basically sets up a kill on Anna. You hack her to kill her, basically. She's going to be difficult to finish off, but if you can get it, then go for it. Bastion pulls him out of tank form, obvious. Brigitte disables all her cooldowns, which she's very reliant on. Disables her barrier, very reliant on that. Very important. Diva, super reliant on cooldowns to survive. Needs it to like jump in, jump out. If she rockets in and you hack her, then she can't get out. She's super vulnerable. Can't defense matrix. She's probably going to die. Doomfist, super cooldown reliant. Genji, super cooldown reliant. Hanzo, pretty cooldown reliant. Disables, like I saw someone mention earlier, like disabling wall climb and jump as well is super important. So thank you to whoever pointed that out in chat as well. Like I should be highlighting that losing the ability to wall climb and jump around also makes him kind of a sitting duck. And then it just reduces his power to kill people. Junkrat's a bit iffy, but again, you're reducing a huge amount of his kill potential. Lucio disables his songs completely, so like Lucio just becomes dead weight. McCree should be yellow. So McCree's yellow because if you're at the right distance, then you can probably just shoot him down. You shouldn't really be engaging McCree's anyway because they're kind of dangerous, unless you know the flashbang's gone. But being honest, if you're good, you could probably be away from the flashbang or bait the flashbang and then be away without worrying about the hack. If you can hack him and engage him, sure, it's good. But otherwise, it's like I wouldn't prioritize it over someone else, basically. I try and get the hack off and then just stay the fuck away from McCree. May, super reliant on cooldowns for survival. Super important to hack. Mercy, super reliant on cooldowns to escape. Her abilities, like res and stuff, super important to disable those, so that's a big deal. Super important, reliant on cooldowns as well. Difficult to finish off, but again, like you disable a lot of her healing functionality when you do that, and Fade is vital for Moira's survivability. So if you're playing a dive team and you can hack Moira, Moira will die straight away. It's as if she's blown Fade. When Moira was super heavy in meta, for example, a lot of the pro level teams would spend a lot of time pressuring to try and cause you try and force Moira to use her ultimate, to use her ability, to use her Fade, and then you would engage on the Moira because she can't escape and then she's going to die. So that's kind of a big deal. Orisa's yellow because like disabling Fortify is a really fucking good idea. Fortify is a very powerful ability, but she'll generally still have a barrier up and stuff like that. So if like her barrier is going down and you disable her, great. If her barrier is fresh and new and you disable her, it's kind of iffy. Pharah is green because disabling Pharah now is huge. Knocks her out the sky, makes her super vulnerable. She can't do much. It's basically like killing her for a few seconds. It's really good. Disabling Reaper is a big deal because disabling Reaper will remove his ability to Wraith Walk. Reaper depends on that for survivability. Makes it very difficult for Reaper to do anything. Reinhardt's kind of obvious. No barrier. Very good. No safeties on Roadhog. Very, very important. Just makes him into a big pin cushion. Drops super fast. Soldier should probably be red. While you disable his heal pack, it's still probably not going to be like he's probably already got it down. Like a good soldier, especially when he realizes he's being hacked, will just use it straight away, and then you will never kill him. He's way better than you at pretty much every distance, and even without his rocket launcher, he doesn't need it to kill you. So like soldier doesn't really get that impacted. Enemy Sombras should be self-explanatory, reliant on cooldowns, so it's always good. Sim, Torb, not super reliant on cooldowns for what they do. Sim kind of is, but she's still very dangerous without, and like disabling her with a hack isn't going to be enough. EMPing her will be huge, but hacking her, not really going to impact her too much. Torbjorn's kind of the same. Make him vulnerable, and you could probably kill him on the back of a hack, but you could probably just kill him regardless, you know? If you can hack him, then yeah, kind of, like, take it and then just kill him off so he can't self-armor again, but honestly, he probably doesn't have an extra armor pack anyway if he's playing properly, and then you just grind him down and kill him. Tracer, like we said, difficult. Widowmaker's in green because if you get to the Widow, like, think about the combat flow against the Widow. If you got to her and just fought her straight up, then she's just going to grapple away and just turn around and shoot you, right? That's a problem. If you hack her, she can't grapple, then Widowmaker's super vulnerable. Grapple is like the linchpin of Widowmaker's effectiveness, so you really want to get that hack on her. Makes her vulnerable, makes her diveable, makes her killable. Winston, just like D.Va, if he engages and you hack him, then he can't get out and he's going to die. Zarya, we've been through Zen. We've kind of been through Zen. All he can do with it is change his orbs. So that's all you've really disabled. And a good Zen will probably have his orbs out on something good already, so it's not going to be super useful. EMP, of course, is very good on him. If he has Trance, then sure, like, feel free. But honestly, like, if you just gun him down and pressure him and he uses Trance anyway, that's even better, almost. Like, if he just used it on his own, it's pretty good. So we've been through, like, that's a lot, but there you go. Very quick. Not somewhat related, but do you think Sim will change the meta? If she does, it'll be a slow process. I think it'll take a long time. In my mind, Sim enables almost like, I want to call it cheese, because it kind of is cheese, where if you don't know it's coming, the Symmetra swap will be a big deal, and especially on a number of mats. Like Volskaya is a good example. There's a lot of good flanks on Volskaya that you can go through. But yeah. DC Style's video on Mercy Hanzo nerf. Also, CBLB Shieldfall's opinions on Widow. Is that the nerf where Mercy can no longer damage jump Dragon Strike? I believe I heard about that. If that's the case, then that's just a good change. Like, I don't like any combo outpowering Transcendence, basically. That just seems really stupid and makes the game revolve around that combo. In my mind, at the moment, the lazy choice that people seem to be opting for is, let's just play Hanzo, Zarya, Reinhardt in every single game and win on the back of that Dragon Strike combo. That's really boring. Really boring. And so, yeah, I want it gone. Like, it's not fun. ZBLB and Shortfall's opinions on Widow. I haven't heard those, but I can guess. A lot of pro opinions on Widow is generally that Widowmaker is, like, super oppressive and super overpowered. what I would say is that Widowmaker was like the only buff that Widowmaker received recently was the change to a cooldown, and that honestly isn't why she's in meta. It's a matter of like what heroes are in meta and what heroes are out of meta, and I think Widowmaker will just drop out on her own eventually as heroes change around. But at the moment, like, it's a good meta for Widow, it's a sniper meta, so Widowmaker of course is going to be very powerful. Whether or not it's fun to play against is a different thing entirely. What I would say is it's a different experience at the highest level than it is elsewhere. And Widowmaker is always going to be difficult to balance. Like, good Widows, you know, the counters to Widow, the quote-unquote counters to Widow, are stuff like, you know, you would think on paper, the counters to Widow would be either like a tank with high mobility, so like, oh, well, D.Va can counter her, or Winston can counter her, or, you know, Genji and Tracer can counter her. But that's not really the case, where, like, Winston can get two-shot, D.Va can get two-shot. It's not that hard to two-shot a D.Va. Winston has to do this fancy jump, and if any pressure goes on him, like, Widowmaker can still generally get a headshot on him, especially at the highest level. So he's going in and he has 200 hit points, right? So it's, like, super rough. You'll see a lot of Winstons at the highest level jump in, bubble, and then ult, just to pressure the Widow out. It's crazy. D.Va generally, like, isn't even seen trying these days. She's generally covering her team a lot more. So, like, Widowmaker is just super difficult to deal with. Counter to Widow is Widow. Yeah, and that's honestly, that's not a solution, basically. That just means Widow is mandatory every game. So, yeah, it's a tough one to balance, but what I'd like to see is, again, just see how the meta shakes out. At the moment, it's a sniper meta, largely because, like, Hanzo kind of pushes it that way. And so if Hanzo sort of dipped out, because right now playing like Hanzo Widow is viable. Like, if you asked 3 months ago, oh, is Hanzo Widow viable? People always kind of go, ew. Right now, it's like, it's a really efficient way to get a lot of damage out. If this meta fades away, then you could quickly see Widowmaker dropping away. The nice thing about Widow is, like, if you think about the skill ceilings of various heroes, Widowmaker has one of the highest. So it's a good state for the game when Widowmaker is involved. Like, it would be a really fucking sad day if, like, Torb and Junkrat was the meta, right? That would be sad because, like, the skill cap on these two heroes, Junkrat's pretty high, but Torb especially, like, there's limits compared to, like, a pure hit scan like Widow. Holy shit. It was why, you know, I was kind of fine with Dive because Genji Tracer are, like, two very, very involved, difficult to play heroes. Whereas something like, you know, Quad Tank, that's not as exciting, not as interesting. After talking about Hanzo made me think of it. I am really bad with Storm Arrows because I'm better when I can aim while drawing the Storm Arrows kill my rhythm. I can only use it on tanks and barriers. In the space coaching, you see me whiff 6 of them. The trick with Storm Arrows is realizing that, like, you aren't going to hit all of them. And so you don't use it like a, you don't use it like normal arrows. Don't think of it like normal arrows. Think of it different. So let me grab Hanzo. Now, I am not a Hanzo main. Hanzo is probably my worst hero, intentionally. But the thing with Storm Arrows is, like, you use it almost like a machine gun, right? It's not like your normal arrows. Your normal arrows, you're aiming and firing. With Storm Arrow, and this is part of why I think it's so much bullshit, you aren't actually looking to aim the shot. So what you're looking to do is, oh, we got a body shot there. Okay, let's put arrows at this guy. And it's just a matter way of, like, firing off 6 very quick shots. And you only really need to hit 1 or 2. So if you get a body shot, Storm Arrow, you just have to, like, spam at the enemy. And you just keep the crosshair around or on the enemy and don't overthink the shots. Just put them all down range because if the cooldown's low enough, I know it's getting nerfed, but it's still pretty low. Especially if you landed that first shot that you can just, like, spam away. And you don't have to think too much about the other shots. And then as you get better with it, then you can start thinking more about those shots. But yeah, it really is just like a... just, like, put the crosshair on the enemy and just shoot. Because you have these 6 shots. They are very quick. You don't have much time to get them out. Get them all out. Don't worry too much about the aim. Right, that's sort of the trick. It's just putting shots in, and if 1 headshots, then you're golden. Right, because, it's just a ridiculous ability that removes skill from the game. LOL. What flavor ice cream is 7 Lions? It's coming home flavor. Let's just put Sombra on screen here. Do a couple more questions. We've been running quite a while on these. You can also nade trance. You can nade trance, but, like, who the fuck plays Anna? No more questions? No more questions! Been through them all. Been through them all. Just very quickly, just to, like, round up, I suppose, on 7 Lions. Just to quickly talk about, like, the player choices, because we had them unveiled. And the most common question I see... Most questions I want to say hi. Hello, Edmund. Ooh. So BLB, hey, I play Widowmaker a lot these days, but even if I win by carrying with Widow, it feels sad and bitter. The meta these days is to win a dominant that as long as you overwhelm the other Widow player, you win. Which means that we lost stage 4 because of me. If you don't win the window 1v1, you lose. When I play Tracer, I have 100% trust. Yeah. I don't think... Like, he's BLB, of course he's fucking right. The thing I would probably disagree with slightly is the idea of the Widow 1v1, and I think people are getting better at this. I know a lot of the discussions you see in pro teams, or like in contenders teams especially, is based on like how do we deal with the Widow, and it does all revolve around what you're doing with the other Widow. But the key here to me is like this statement: as long as you overwhelm the other Widow. That can come from like your tanks as well. That can come from other players and like other positioning and other pressure. It's just at the moment, like Hanzo Widow is just really good. You see a lot of Widow Pharah as well getting played here and there. So it's like Widow Pharah is kind of unique because it's more of an anti-tank, like anti-brig, I suppose, anti-triple support. So when I say like anti-tank, it's like generally Reinhardt, Zarya, brig. Like that's sort of where that's going. So I don't disagree. Widowmaker in meta is always going to be in meta, but Widow matchups similar to Pharah matchups. How do you mean? They're generally a lot quicker. If you mean like Pharah versus Pharah, then generally it's a lot quicker. Widow versus Widow is pretty decisive, but it's a lot of it is about like knowing where the Widow is and like positioning yourself and trying to get a shot. What team has pressure at what time and stuff like that. There's kind of a lot that goes into it. It's just a matter of like, if you're on Widow versus Widow, okay, the first thing you need to ascertain is like where is the enemy Widow, and then can I get like an angle on the Widow that they are not covering? Because like Widowmaker, general consensus seems to be that like the Widowmaker who is covering an angle at that moment has advantage. So if you jump into a Widow who already has line of sight on somewhere, you generally have disadvantage coming out. This is why it's important to know where the Widow is, because you can sort of go for that. If you try and jump around a corner and then you have to like look and scan for a Widow, that's bad, right? You're going to get shot in the time it takes you to scan for her, unless you're Pine, in which case, who the fuck knows. In terms of Widow versus Widow, like, it's a case of, like, where is their Widow? And this is why you'll see Widows sometimes hold fire. I was watching some of the UK scrims and watching some of the Widow play, and it's very interesting watching some of the shots they don't take, very specifically so that the enemy team doesn't know where they are. And, like, that's very important. Do they give Tracer its coming home voice line? Yes. Yes, they should. Alternative to Widow for people in lower ranks, less mechanically gifted. I mean, do you even have to ask? Especially at the moment. Hanzo every time. Well, stopping people from hiding behind barriers all day from snipers. How much? So the reason why that doesn't work is because Widowmaker is mobile. That would work fine if Widowmaker could not dramatically readjust her position every 8 seconds. So let's say like the enemy team is down here and I'm sniping and they have a barrier, right? Well, okay, I realize that A, they're just hiding behind a barrier, so we just pressure their barrier. But B, if I'm feeling bold and they don't have pressure on me, then I can go around and I can start finding angles. And suddenly the Widowmaker can start playing a lot more independently, right? So I can even sort of go over here, and at this moment, like if, you know, let's say, oh, well, I just killed their support and they dive on me, well, I'm out. And my team can come save me, right? Like, it's a matter of that mobility combined with the power of the one-shot makes Widowmaker super dangerous. Super duper dangerous. And very difficult to deal with. And especially with Hanzo as well. So if you have, like, Hanzo over here, Widowmaker over here, well, what do you block? You can't block anything. And so it's crossfires. That's what you're seeing these Widowmakers generate quite often. And they can do it so easily because grapple is on such a low cooldown that they can kind of get away with it. Is the answer raise the cooldown of grapple? Maybe. That would actually be pretty good. Or like nerfing grapple, changing grapple would make Widowmaker a lot weaker. But then that also removes, in my mind, a lot of the fun of the game. Like, Widowmaker is very, very dynamic and exciting to play. Making her less mobile would be a little bit of a shame, but would probably, you know, fix the Widowmaker meta. Is there another way of doing that? We'll see. Will Hammond fix Widowmaker? Probably not. Is my short answer to that. I don't think Hammond is... I think, like, D.Va does that better, and Hammond is just as vulnerable to, like, headshots and stuff. It's not that difficult. If he's trying to, like, shoot you, let me put it this way: a one-on-one between Hammond and Widowmaker. If Hammond's just like shooting and strafing, and Widowmaker's shooting and strafing, Widowmaker will probably win that at a high level. Why is Widowmaker's headshot damage equal to a Tracer pulse bomb? Doesn't make sense at all because it's very difficult to land Widowmaker headshots. But and also like you shouldn't judge abilities. Like I know Defran was made that tweet, but pulse bomb builds up extremely quickly. And having Tracer be able to like get behind and build up an ultimate super fast and then just nuke your tanks. Let me put it this way. While Widowmaker can reposition pretty well, she cannot reposition at the same rate that Tracer can reposition. And so having Tracer do super high amounts of damage with a pulse bomb is scary because, well, she can, if she's good, she can get that pulse bomb anywhere she needs. So she can always just blink in, get it on the Reinhardt and kill. Like, it's scary, and like pulse bomb is very easy to get to places where you need 300 damage placed in positions you need is a big deal. Widowmaker doesn't quite have that freedom. If she got nerfed to only do 200 damage on a headshot, I'd be kind of sad. 250 I think might be okay. Yeah, Widowmaker cannot reposition that much. It's mostly just there to make sure that she can really punish squishies. And like she doesn't have to worry about armor as well. Like if you made her do 200 damage on a headshot, the moment armor gets involved, it's just GG. 250 I think would be a nice breakpoint. 120 to 240. Do you mean like if you just did 240 on a headshot? Yeah, I can see that. It'll make Brig even more obnoxious, but it's just Brig. But again, that's like Hanzo damage. Real question is why the fuck Riptire gets to one-shot tanks when our bomb does 300? That's a better question. Riptire needs looking at. Yeah.
Welcome to
the reason why
Overwatch
Riptire does so much
Monthly.
damage is because it originally...
Been quiet for 12 months and counting.
Good shit, Valkyrie. I love it. Look, I'm a lurker in most channels I watch as well, so... Lol. 125, 250 says she won't be able to one-shot Brig if it's 250. But yeah, the reason why Junkrat does so much damage is because you can break it. So previously, like, it was, oh, you need to reward him for doing so much for getting the Riptire in. Now it's so easy to get Riptire in because it's so mobile and so quick. Like, you don't need that level of reward anymore. So I wouldn't mind seeing them take another pass at Junkrat. Because it is not an exciting... Like, Riptire is just such an obnoxious thing to deal with. I do think, like, Widowmaker's existence makes Junkrat's life harder. Riptire is definitely much more difficult when Widowmaker's on the field, but it's still kind of... Ugh. I know in a lot of the sixes that we played, I was doing, I think, pretty well at denying Junkrats. Like, it's just practice for Widowmakers. So, yeah. She used to do 150 body shots, yes. Yeah, good times. And Zen used to have 150 hit points, and you can body shot Tracers as well. Oh, that was overpowered. That was actually overpowered. Made Tracer impossible. Paladin says it's better than Overwatch, less one-shot kills. I think I don't mind one-shot kills. As long as one-shot kills are tied to powerful, like, high skill abilities, I am fine with a one-shot kill. The thing is, I'm in a minority. I thought Scatter Arrow was, like, one of the few actually interesting and exciting abilities for Hanzo. I know a lot of people found it super frustrating, and, you know, community consensus kind of overrides me here, but, like, I thought that Scatter Arrow incentivized Hanzo to position cleverly. It incentivized good use of Sonic Arrow, because you needed to know where the enemy was to get a good scatter, and then you'd scatter down. It was like, it was a good ability overall. I just think that, you know, maybe it needed a damage cap or something so it couldn't one-shot Orisa. Because that was sort of the big issue, was that you couldn't stop him just killing Orisas. But yeah, I thought scatter was fine. Yeah, otherwise, that'll probably tie us up for now. It's been a good sort of 2 hours. It's been a fun one. It has been a fun one. Yeah, that was Sombra. That was a bunch of Sombra stuff. Sombra, I wish she was better. She's a fun hero. I like the design. I like the visuals of her. 7 Lions? Okay, yeah. We'll wrap up, yeah, and talk a little bit about 7 Lions. Some of the decisions. Because I know, like, Numlocked, like, a lot of people are like, well, first of all, like, a lot of people are like, where's Numlocked? And then a lot of people are like, where's Fusions? Why Chris? First and foremost, let me dispel the myth that Chipsa had any involvement in decisions revolving around Chris. Chipsa had no input on the main tank choice. Pretty much no input. He might have given a comment here and there, but in terms of, like, who makes the decision. Ultimately, all the roster choices I think came down to Hayes. He took input from everyone though. That includes myself, Chew, Flares, Chipsa in certain roles, me, Sty, What's Good. Like, all of us were providing input from what we saw on the scrims. We played a bunch of trials. We played a bunch of trials with different people. We even got extra stuff from Chris, just because Chris got busy and had some personal circumstances where he couldn't commit to trials quite as much. But we got some extra footage from Chris as well, I do believe, so we could sort of assess him better. Both Chris and Fusions are fucking incredible tanks. They, and like Numlocked as well is sort of up there. Like, if I had to rate them, I'd honestly say, like, between Chris and Fusions, I would not be able to tell the difference, and then Numlocked is like here. So how do you differentiate between two tanks at that level? Well, what you do is you try and look for the differences, and it's like, between them, the shot calling in terms of skill level is, again, it's very even. Chris is just a little bit better at assessing the moment, and Chris has a unique attitude and a unique discipline to him and a unique almost mentality that helps bring the team together overall. Chris is a player you want on your team when the team is tilting, and this isn't to say like Fusions is a tilt lord or anything like that. It's just that Chris has this ability to bring people back down, where I think Fusions will keep an even head. Chris will actually actively calm down other people, and so this is what you see out of Chris, where he will bring the team together more. It's pretty huge. Now then, in terms of DPS, in terms of support choices, why Cruz over Funny Astro? Funny Astro, he's mostly known for his Lucio play. Cruz just has a better Mercy. I think it's very difficult to dispute that. Cruz's Mercy is really fucking good. It's not perfect, but it's good. Cruz is also, like, people are saying, oh, well, Cruz played Genji. But you've got to remember Cruz's history. Cruz went from Lucio to Genji to then, like, Mercy, basically. Right? The thing that he did on all three of these roles is shot calling. And this is where Cruz is so fucking good, because Cruz can shot call from pretty much any position. When he was on Team UK playing Genji, he was the DPS shot caller. Like, in fights, he will be calling the focus targets, he will be calling out what's happening in the fights, where to commit, where they're going for, all that kind of stuff. When he's playing supports, he's extremely good at monitoring ultimate charges. He's good at planning out fights. He's good at focusing the team after a fight is done. He will start running through ultimates very quickly and very efficiently and start going, okay, guys, they use this. Did they use this? Did they use this? What do they use here? We have this. Let's use this. Our plan is this, this, and this. He's very efficient at it. Very efficient at it. This isn't to say Funny Astro doesn't do some of that, but Cruz just does it more consistently and does it better. So across both play and shot calling, Cruz is a little bit more efficient. Combine that with the fact that Cruz, Chris, and Smex have a really fucking strong synergy, and we only have a couple of months to prepare. This is very difficult to breed, and is very, very powerful. Now, that isn't to say, like, Fusions plus Kib is really fucking strong. We managed to do a couple of scrims with both of these two playing, and like Fusions and Kib, when we made them play Dive, was a really, really powerful combo. Really, really good. But again, it's like the margins are tiny between Chris and Fusions. It's just Chris has this slight little extra skill. How did Daya do? Daya did pretty well. He is... The thing with Daya and Boombox is, like, Boombox already knows what to do in 99.9% of situations. So Boombox knows how much he can get away with. He knows how, like, when to trance. He knows what to mark, what to call, where to position at all times. He's just, like, freaking solid as a rock. Boombox's biggest weakness is sometimes he'll go off and do shit on his own quite a lot, but that's sometimes just him trolling. If he knows that, like, his team is better than the enemy team, he'll just go and play wacky shit and do wacky things. But that's sort of a discipline issue more with Boomers. But Boombox is like, he's the Zenyatta you want on your team. Daya did pretty well, but he's just missing gaps in knowledge. I think Daya still will have access to the overhead VODs and stuff like that from the Team UK. Like, we do two different types of VOD recording. We VOD record specific player perspectives, more for the committee, and that was more for trials. I don't know how much that will still go on. Imagine when we move more into coaching, we'll make first-person VODs more available and stuff like that to the players, not to you guys, just for, like, coaching benefit and just, like, running through and saying, hey, you know, look at this, and this. But we have, like, 3-4 people who can record VODs in most scrims, like, in a lot of scrims. Some scrims we don't, some scrims we do. but overhead VODs he'll still probably have available, and his game knowledge should start perking up a lot. It's very, very funny hearing a Scouse do shot calling. It's not an accent you hear in esports much, but he did well. Like, he did as well as expected considering his circumstances. He's got a lot to learn, and Boombox already knows it, so Boombox kind of really good. KSB is the best endorsement for KSP was the first night of Contenders. He played against Chris's team, and Chris came into the UK Discord leaks, by the way, and basically it was KSP versus Asking, who is I think playing for France. I think he's playing for France. Is Asking playing for France, or is it someone else? Do these French bastards they have just a list instead of having their fancy freaking video? Like, the video is nice, but I just want a list. I know Asking's involved. Is Nico on the main 7? So AKM soon. AKM and Nico. Yeah, so Asking's not even on the starting roster. But yeah, it was KSB versus Asking, and basically Chris came in and said, yeah, Asking was tilting his tits off. Like, he literally had to leave voice chat for a while to calm down because KSB was just dominating him. KSB's performance was insane. Really solid Widow, quite vocal as well, which is rare in a DPS. DPS players tend to be quite quiet, but KSB is actually vocal, which is really good to see. Like, vocal Widowmakers, I think, are super useful. He's not vocal in like a way that is useless. He's vocal in a way that is actually useful to the team. So yeah. So that's why KSP's on there. Kib is a really solid projectile player, versatile, skilled, experienced, knows the game very well. I sent you a VOD review request, but the video was taken down. What did you do? What did you do? How did you get it? Oh, God. Yeah. How did Dids do in scrims? Dids did well. It was kind of shocking to see. Like, you know, you're watching Team UK, and then you watch Hurricane play against Young and Beautiful with Dids on, and like Dids did so well. My God, Dids was fucking on fire. And it's a shame. Dids did all right in the first couple of scrims, but I think Dids, like, he had other commitments basically, so he couldn't do a lot of them. And it's very much okay if Dids wants to go, okay, well, I want to focus on my scrims and my career with Young and Beautiful, so I can't really focus on Team UK. And that was sort of the issue with Dids, was, you know, the other players were hungrier for the spot and did more of the scrims. Dids, I think, was just busier with Young and Beautiful. It seems to be paying off for him, and like, there is no bitterness there. I don't want this coming across of, fuck you, Dids, you went off and you got really good and didn't play for Team UK. It's more, okay, Dids wants to focus on his Contenders career. Fair enough. Like, absolutely fair enough. We have nothing, but I'm like, with Team UK, we all want it, and like Hayes very much mentioned this, and part of why we made a point of like KSB we wanted to, is on the team, is we wanted to make sure that at least some new talent, like, we're very aware that there is a perspective that, oh, we've just hired last year's team. That's not the case at all. It's more the case of, like, we want to find ways for new talent to be developed, and so that's why in our 12 we have, like, Jealous, we have KSP, and then KSP's on the starting 6 because he's an extremely good Widowmaker, relatively unknown, can make his name here. Zergy, just to comment on that as well, because, like, you think Zergy's the perfect choice for that up-and-coming role. He has things that need to be developed. It's also, like, from my personal perspective, it's just more awkward and difficult to try and organize around a 16-year-old. Performed extremely well. I'm probably going to try and push and see if you can get the clip that we have of Zergy playing Hanzo on Junkertown out, where he basically 1v6'd Italy, because that was fucking sick, basically. So I want to see if we can get that one out. But we want to make sure, and like what I want to do as well, where possible, is find ways for the guys who are involved, the guys who are invited to trial, and the guys who perform well in those trials, still have a way to be in the spotlight, still get celebrated, still get promoted, because they are good UK talent. Zergy will come back, like, and this is the thing with Zergy. Zergy will come back next year. Like, Zergy will come back the year after. He's like 16. You know, the lad has time. If he's already this good, he's only going to get better. That guy has a career in front of him. He should probably focus on, like, the actual competitive stuff. But Dids has been performing super well. And, you know, it's a little bit heartbreaking from a Team UK perspective to see him perform so well and not be part of the team. But if he wants to focus on contenders, he can focus on contenders. You know, that's up to him, and we leave that up to him. And I'm sure everyone on Team UK, when they're not playing against him, is super happy to see him do well. So yeah, that's probably about it, unless people have questions directly about Team UK. Yeah.
Welcome to
We'll
Overwatch
probably be doing,
Monthly.
hey, reroll. Oh, that's nice. Very generous of you. So generous. Super generous. Welcome back, reroll. Yeah, if anyone else has questions about Team UK or the choices we made or what we're doing going forward, there will probably be an AMA on Reddit, on the competitive subreddit at some point soon with the committee. Yeah, beyond that about sums it up. Was Zergy shouting winnable? I can't remember. Probably. I know we played an entire scrim once where J-Beans was muted, and we didn't notice until the very end, and then J-Beans was like, oh god, guys, I was talking. It was only one map, but it's still like, it was quite funny. If like we asked J-Beans something, and he just like, he saw TeamSpeak pop up with a hey, he's speaking, and no one could hear it, and it's like, J-Beans, no one can hear you. It's like, oh for fuck's sake, I was talking the entire time. It's a bad thing to have in a trial, but hey. Did my sub anniversary message not go through? Oh. If it did and I missed it, I apologize. It sometimes happens. It didn't go through. No, I can't see it. I can't see it, Kirigiri. It might go. It might take a little while. Hopefully it goes through. Thank you so much for the resub anyway. I'll do it manually, don't worry. Hopefully it's gone through. It'll probably pop up soon. Ruro has been carrying while I've been absent from our team. Ruro is fucking solid. I wouldn't mind it too much. Like, the thing is, I know Miska found the 6-stack super intensive. I found it really fun. But I found it fun because I was playing the heroes I wanted to play. And I know, like, Ryan and mostly Ryan sort of upset that, you know, and when I say upset, I mean, you know, just uncomfortable, I think is a better term, was uncomfortable with being pushed onto the heroes that he was pushed on. So, like, we just need to sort that out. Yeah, beyond that, I think that about sums it up for today. Thank you for watching to the end, then. Thank you for everyone who supported the stream. Which World Cup team do you think looks the most improved? South Korea. And honestly, that's probably not even a joke. South Korea is probably, like, 3 times scarier. Because the Overwatch League trained their players. Team USA probably looks really good as well. Like, the US has a lot of good players in Overwatch League at the moment. It's sort of the weakness of Team UK is that we are mostly contenders talent, but I'd say like the talent that we're fielding is probably good enough for Overwatch League. So it's kind of frustrating. That's their starting 12, isn't it? Where's the starting 6? That's the pin tweet. Do they not have they have to have a reveal. They have to have a reveal today. I'm pretty sure. I know that like Style was like, oh yeah, we have to reveal today. We have to reveal today. Yeah, like America is scary at the moment. Hey, thank you, Elias. Good 3 as well. Jesus. Federation is Brazilian, is it? I guess he's good enough. Is it American enough?
If 4 foreign kids popped out of a magic box and deposed Trump by the express wishes of God's fursona, I'd crown 'em. This winter already fucking feels like it's lasted 100 years.
I don't even know what to think of that message. This winter? It's yeah. Are you in Australia, Delius? Is it down under? Germany, yeah. Like the group Overwatch World Cup. The group stages, I think only 2 go through. I'd say like only France is where we're really scared. Germany's not too bad. Like if I had to say, on my heart of hearts, I'd put, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. UK number 1, and then France second. Beyond that, I think then Germany, Poland, Netherlands, Italy. Actually, I think Germany is pretty guaranteed 3rd. I think like first is between UK and France. I think France is stronger on paper, but they have some weird choice. Like Wins is on their team, you know. It's like Wins. Sideshow has a great clip about Wins. Actually, it's on the Discord. I need to make sure I don't leak. No leaks. Where are we? Where are we? Here we go. Like, Sideshow did a really good thing about
speed
wins.
boost, basically. But the Lucio, when you play it at the highest level, and even some people who played Lucio at the highest level, like Wins, never really rated the hero and didn't understand what it was capable of, I swear. Because I spoke with some of the other players on his team, and they were like, dude, when we went to Apex and we play against these top Lucio, it is impossible. It is impossible to get past them. They are everywhere. You know, we jump in, they boop, you are suddenly in the fucking moon. And then Wins is like, I sit on the payload. I do not know what you are talking about. I just sit on the payload. Lucio is easy game, easy life. And they're like...
So yeah, like, Wins is an interesting choice. I definitely think UK first, France second, lol. And then Germany third. Maybe Netherlands fourth, like... And then probably Poland, Italy. Italy has a lot of heart, but beyond that, it's, yeah, bless them. I want to see Italy do well. Like, I know I've met a lot of the Italian players, and I've seen a lot of them, but it never feels like they're quite enough, you know. Poland's going to be an interesting one. Not the greatest team. Like, these two are kind of wild cards. They're probably going to be pretty low tier though, compared to like UK, Germany, and France. Like, this is the real competition, and then like these three are kind of like fighting for third or fourth. So yeah. And then it gets like murky here. I think Sweden probably going to do okay here. Should do okay here. Denmark. What's Denmark's team? Should be all right. Tell you what's freaking scary. Finland. Like, Finland, Korea. Oh my god, that should be a good game. Please tell me they play against each other. Yes, yeah, of course they do. Finland, South Korea. That should be a match. That's going to be one hell of a game. Finland's team looks freaking amazing. So yeah. Okay, right, but that's going to finish it up before I start rambling about the World Cup too much. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. We'll be back tomorrow with more coaching. I have VODs now, so we got VODs to review. Should be fun. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to everyone who supported the stream. Very quickly, we'll run through. Delius, Missile Mage with a gifted sub to Hururaw, Valkyrie, Sintalis, Mirandir, Wonton Sushi, Nibelung, Gohan, with a donation and a sub, Razordore, Comrade Hand Soap, Sea Surfer, of course, earlier today, Pokemon Panda, it was good to hear from him, Grizzly Yoda, Amnaxis, earlier on today, Argent Blade, 8 as well, Eldritch Enchantress as well. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you very soon. What about Canada? Canada should be pretty good. Canada looked pretty... Okay, have Canada announced the final 6? I don't think I saw Canada's final 6. Final 7, sorry. Team Canada. Team Canada Overwatch. Let's have a look. They got the 12. But they still don't have their 6 out. So that'll be out later today. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Canada should be pretty strong. Like, they have good players. Very good players. So I expect good things out of Canada. I think they did have... Did they announce some of it? I'm pretty sure they did. Like, it's going to be interesting, because it's like... I'm personally expecting, like, because it's Jane, and Jane will probably pick XQC, Note. Shore 4 is like shoe-in. I'm pretty confident on Shore 4 being in. Like, you could probably take all 3 of these and be fine. Then you probably take Banny and probably take Rolf. I don't know. Does that work? I'm not too sure on the supports. Not too sure. Good players in XQC. I mean, like... if he puts the effort in, I'm sure XQC will be fine as long as he doesn't say something stupid. And it guarantees them a shoe-in for the T-Mobile MVP. Freaking guarantee it. People will vote for it, not only because there's a huge XQC fan base, but because of the memes. And memes are powerful. Memes are powerful things. All right, guys, thank you so much.